Good evening and welcome to everyone. I'm Lauren Swartz, President and CEO of the World Affairs Council of Philadelphia, and we are excited to have you here with us tonight. For 70 years, the World Affairs Council of Philadelphia has connected you to the world via our speaker programs, youth education, professional development, and of course, travel. We are always nonpartisan, focusing on civil discourse and going behind the scenes, behind the headlines, and to the obvious destinations. While we are committed to covering the most pressing topics of the day, tonight we are here to talk about a critical and perhaps a more lighthearted piece of world affairs, travel opportunities in Chile. As the pandemic shifts and vaccines are increasing and the sun shines, many of us are very eager to see the world again, to connect with new friends and olds, and to open our eyes and our minds to fresh experience, something perhaps outside of your living room, and to see a different way of life, food, culture, and more. Our event tonight is part of the Beyond Our Borders Spotlight Chile series. This new series creates the space for the Council to focus on a single country or topic over the course of a year throughout all of our activities, our speaker events, student programs, and of course, trips abroad. And we've decided to spotlight Chile as our first country for the series because of the robust and long-standing international relationship between Chile and Philadelphia. That relation centers itself on international trade, particularly around fruit and food and produce, affecting the port and cargo and many, many hundreds of thousands of jobs on both sides. But that relationship goes much deeper, and that's one of the things we're here to talk about in this series. Last month, we learned about Chile's process to rewrite its constitution from Chilean senators from different political ideologies. Try getting 2 American senators from different political ideologies to talk about the Constitution here. A difficult task, but we managed to do it with Chile and hosted a very fascinating conversation. And next month, we'll host an economic outlook for Latin America from former central bankers of Chile and Argentina. Followed that, a few days later, we'll have a virtual Chilean wine tasting. And yes, there are a few seats left for both of those programs. And while the wine program is virtual, the actual wine will be shipped straight to your door. And this summer, we'll learn how Chile is contributing to food innovation and technology around the world. And our high school students will have the chance to simulate Chile's constitutional reform during their summer seminar. We'll host a keynote speaker for this series in the fall. And after spending this year discovering Chile virtually, come with us to the Central Valley region of Chile next March. With all of the attention to detail, personal touch, and unique access you can count on when you travel with the World Affairs Council. For example, those 2 senators with whom we hosted a virtual program last month have invited our travelers next March to have lunch with them at the Chilean Senate and see how they're doing on that constitutional reform process. The winemakers hosting our virtual wine tasting next month will invite us to visit them at their winery for a tasting in person to see the vineyards firsthand. And more specialized opportunities will be announced soon. We're delighted to present this Beyond Our Borders Spotlight Chile series in partnership with the Chilean American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Philadelphia, and of course, the Honorary Consulate of Chile in Philadelphia as well. We're extremely grateful to our sponsors, Sierra Hotels, the Port of Wilmington, Delaware, the Delaware River Stevedores, the Port of Philadelphia, Western Fumigation, the Maritime Exchange for the Delaware River and Bay, and Tasty Fruity International. And thank you also to our promotional partner for this evening, Pro Chile. I'd like to offer a special welcome to the high school and college students and teachers joining our webinar tonight, who participate in our education programs throughout the year. We work with over 2,500 youth across 85 schools in the region to bring the world to these young people who will be the leaders of tomorrow. And now to our topic for tonight. Well, we can't wait to travel to Chile. We'll have to just give it a few more months before we can head down there. But we're hoping to whet your appetite and give you a glimpse into everything the country has to offer, from food and wine to history and art, from mountains and valleys to nightlife and urban living. Our expert speakers are here to share their wisdom and experience with you this evening about Chile. I'm delighted to introduce Daniela Orellana, who is the Director of Sales, Leisure, and Alliances at the Singular Hotels in Chile. We also have Ellen Guidera, the director of the Portillo Ski Resort and Tierra Hotels, and a founding member of the National Geographic Unique Lodges Program. And Rudyard Ulrich, the director of international programs and markets at Cernatur, Chile's national tourism service. If you'd like to ask questions for our panelists, send them along using the Q&A feature in your Zoom platform. And just before we turn to our moderated discussion with our experts, I'd like to pass the virtual microphone to our partner, Alexander Grabois, the trade representative for ProChile based here in Philadelphia, for a few remarks and a short video presentation. Alexander, over to you.
Thank you very much, Lauren. ProChile is delighted to be partnering with the World Affairs Council of Philadelphia and the Chilean American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Philadelphia on this occasion. For those that don't know, ProChile is the Chilean government organization responsible for trade promotion of goods and services. We have 57 offices worldwide, one of the newest of which being Philadelphia, that opened up in November of 2020. As Lauren mentioned, Philadelphia and Chile have a very long-standing relationship, of course, centered around the fruit trade, which by itself is responsible for over $1 billion per year of annual trade. But we're much more than that, and we're very delighted to continue to show everything we have to offer, whether it be innovation, food and beverage innovation, which you'll be able to see later this year, and many other ways. We feel that this tourism event is a great way for us to show you all the diversity you can find when you go to Chile, ideally in March of 2022, or as soon as we're able to travel again. We hope that tonight's program will help incentivize you and make you feel more ready to travel to Chile as soon as the borders are back open and as soon as it's safe to travel. You'll hear from our panelists in just a moment, but before we get started, we would love to show you a short video on all the sites that you'll be able to see in Chile from north to south. We hope you enjoy the following video and the program. Thank you very much.
Alexander, for sharing that lovely video. It's been a pleasure working with you and all our partners in lead up to this program. Ellen, Daniela, and Rudard, I'd like to invite you now each to give a few remarks as we begin this virtual tour to Chile. Daniela, how about we start with you?
Hi, thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Daniela Orellana, and I have been in the hospitality business for a little over 30 years. My experience is based in experiential, family-owned luxury hotels. I have been working with the North American market since 1993. So I guess that I can say that I really understand Americans. Actually, I would say that the only thing that really took me very long to get was when going to a restaurant and ordering food, and the cashier always said, "For here to go, for here to go." I could never understand what he meant until I could figure it out. But other than that, I think I'm quite fine.
Thank you, Daniela. Ellen?
Hi, everybody. I'm Ellen Guerrera, and I'm an American, but I've been living in Chile now for about 25 years. But I first came here actually 42 years ago as a ski instructor in Portillo. And I ended up coming back 14 years after that and met my husband and ended up coming here to marry him. And we own Portillo and Tierra Hotels. And it's been an adventure to work with my family to develop the Tierra Hotels and to, reach the American skiers for Portillo. We have a son who's a Chilean and American. He has 2 passports. And I look forward to this opportunity today to talk to all of you about why Chile is great. I just want to say one real quick reason why it's great, which is that there's this old legend. I heard this back in 1980 when I was a ski instructor here, and I was amazed by how beautiful Chile is. Like you get tired of not being able to come up with enough words to describe the beauty. Because anyway, so the answer to this issue that there's so much beauty is this legend. And the legend is that when God created the earth, he had leftover deserts and mountains and beaches and volcanoes and glaciers and vineyards. And he swept them all into a corner, and that corner is Chile. And I love that legend. And I think it describes Chile really well. Anyway, looking forward to the hour ahead.
Thank you, Ellen. And Rudyard?
Hello, everyone. How are you? Thanks. My name is Radger Ulrich. It's not a real Chilean name, even I'm 100% Chilean. I work for Cernatur, which is the National Tourism Service in Chile. And personally, I'm in charge of the promotion in the international markets. Not because I work in the promotion of Chile in terms of tourism, nor because I'm Chilean, but I'm really in love of the country where we live. So hopefully we can share with you some tips and deeper ideas so you can come and visit us.
Thank you. It's clear that all of you are truly passionate about Chile as a travel destination. And I know for the first time in its history, the World Travel Awards, better known as the Oscar of Tourism, crowned Chile with first place in the most important category in Latin America, Best Destination 2020. So I'd like to invite each of you to share what makes Chile so special to receive a distinction like this.
I would say that, I don't know, well, you all know, guys, Chile is the long, thin country, like we all want to be, tall and thin. But what this brings is that it's 2,700 miles long and only 221 miles wide at its widest point, which is quite complex for us, its citizens, but it's a great opportunity for those who visit us. There are a few countries in the world where in the morning you can be skiing in the mountains over 1,200,000 feet. And in the afternoon, you can be at the ocean enjoying the sunset in just 90 minutes drive. Also, it is the land of contrasts. And in the morning, again, you can be in the driest desert of the world, take a flight in the afternoon, and you can be hiking in Patagonia. We have a big diversity of landscapes, climate, culture. Chile had the Inca influence in the north, Mapuches in the central region, and a collection of different and unique cultures throughout the south, which together enrich the whole experience. So having more than 3,000 miles of coastline provides a rich variety of seafood, enriches our experience and our gastronomy.
I would just add, I think that Daniela has outlined it really well. And I would just add that like the experience of coming to Chile for the first time is one that is surprising because there's so much open space that you don't find in other countries. There's so much beauty, and it's a varied beauty. You go to Patagonia and it looks like Montana, but without any ranches or houses. I mean, there are a few, but it's it's wide open. You go, you just are constantly surprised in Chile by the places and the beauty. And the other thing to add would be the people are so wonderful. And I don't know why, but maybe that's because they've been living here at the, the corner of the world. I mean, we really are at the uttermost corner of the world. And they have a great curiosity about the rest of the world. So they tend to be super full of heart and welcome for any visitors. They like to learn about those visitors.
And also to add what the ladies didn't let me to tell you, because they told a lot of mostly everything. It's also important to mention that for the awards itself, this year we are again nominated for different categories. So we invite you to see where we are to understand a little bit about destination itself and the products. And also it's important to mention that besides all the natural beauties and cultural that we have, Chile is a safe country, it's stable, it's easy to travel, even being a really long country, it's really easy to travel. So that makes us so unique.
Mm-hmm. And it's not corrupt. It's got decent government. The U.S. Embassy people here, who I get to know usually under most ambassadors being American, they in the past, a lot of their work has been to work with the neighboring countries, because the U.S. views Chile as kind of a leader in democracy and transparency and just clean government. Not that it doesn't have problems, but comparatively, it's a leader.
I'd like to talk a little bit on some government initiatives. I mean, obviously, all the countries around the world are anxious to welcome back travelers. And I know that the Chilean government has worked on some initiatives to improve institutional structure and to strengthen the governance of tourism, including the responsible tourism plan. So what benefits do you see that some government plans might have to strengthen the tourism industry in Chile?
Yeah, I will, sorry, I will say that one of the most important works that has been done, it does not just last year and this year with all the pandemic, but the work that has been developed in Chile with the public, private sector of tourism itself has been quite stable through the years and with projections. It's not something that you just do one project, it's projected to many, many years. And nowadays it's more important than ever, to work collaborated between all the different actors that we have in the industry, basically, which is really important. There are also different protocols from the private area, from the public sectors, working together, of course, on hand of what the sanitary authority says in Chile. So today, even we are closed for the moment, our borders. To date, all protocols have been already developed with different seals for properties, hotels, tour providers. So I think in that direction, we are working really well. And also in terms of the sustainability, there are different plans for the future and for the present, of course.
Also, we see a trend that traveling for the future will be that people will be looking to travel to places with a purpose and meaning, like more in-depth experiences. So Chile has been leading some environmental initiatives which are good as the institutionality overturns into achieving like a more sustainable life that complies with tourism. And all of us on the private sector and the government are getting ready for that, and Chile is getting ready for that.
Yeah, and of course, Chile has such unique national heritage sites. As we mentioned, the Atacama Desert to the north and Patagonia's beautiful Lake District. Our main tour will focus in Santiago, but our travelers will have time to spend time in Atacama and Puerto Veros during pre and post-trip add-ons. So to touch a little bit on what you started to mention, Daniela, what work is being done to protect these natural heritage areas?
I can speak more on the private on the private sector, and Raquel can help me on the more on the government. I would say that we take care of being more sustainable and be more responsible on wherever we are, wherever we go. With our properties, we have one in Santiago and the other one in Patagonia, and we just try to, we try to comply with all that has to do with traveling responsibly and keeping the patrimony and helping the community, and also being responsible with even with our employees, like being more responsible and making sure that it's not that they only have a job, but they also have a good life as well. So those are the things that we as private companies can provide and support, but I'm sure there is a plan, Rudyard, on much longer activities, more broadened.
Yes, definitely they are. So basically, as Nelia said, it's a work that it's been done through the public sector and the private working together. And from more the public sector, today there are many different institutions within Chile, like for example, CONAF, which takes care of all the national parks, which are within Chile. We got, for example, Ruta de los Parques, or the Route Park of Patagonia, which is well known in the States, and many different institutions that each of them take care of an important part, but always working together. Flora, fauna. You mentioned, for example, Atacama Desert and Puerto Varas, which are two completely different geographical areas in terms of landscape, of culture, and everything. But both of them, from the private and from the public sector, they are working, just to give an example, in taking care of the birds, of the plants, the flora, the fauna that they are in those areas. So the work is being done. It's a slow process and constant from any of the different people and institutions involved in that important project.
I'd like to add one anecdote too that is an example of Tierra Atacama. When we were building the hotel, we and the local government there, we in the permitting process, we were required to do an archaeological dig underneath the entire footprint of the hotel. That's a huge effort. That's a big footprint, but that's the government shows that kind of dedication to protecting the treasures of the past, as well as the nature and the in Spanish naturaleza. But yeah, we had to do that, and in everything that we do, there's a lot of permitting here in Chile to make sure that you're doing it right, and I think that Chile does this very well, actually.
And also, I would say that more and more our citizens are adapting to this and taking and making it their own mission. So it's something that younger generations are bringing on, and they are putting in practice as well.
Right. I also, related to that, in the 25 years I've been here, there's been a change in the amount of Chileans who've been traveling to see their own country. And so my husband and I went and we did the hike around the Torres del Paine back in 1999. And it was all non-Chilean foreigners that you would see. And nowadays, Chileans are really excited to see their own country. 25 years ago, I found that I was so much more impressed with the beauty of Chile than the Chileans, because it didn't seem like they had the opportunity yet to see it. But now I think that's completely reversed. And so Chileans are actually a growing market for us as well in our tourism spots. But that also has led to the Chilean population having pride and awareness and protectiveness about their own incredible natural beauty.
Yeah, and I'd like to talk about the Chileans a bit more. That I think once you touch down in the country, you'll instantly notice the warmth of the people, an incredible sense of hospitality that maybe they might invite you to the national pastime or the asado for a cold beer at a local barbecue. So what is it about the culture of Chile that makes it such an inviting place?
I would say that as Chileans and Chilean born and raised, I mean, we live so far away and we have always been looking up north. To the east, we have Argentina, but to the west, we have nothing until 5 hours flight till you reach the next spot of land, which is Easter Island. So it's like, whenever we see someone coming down here, it's like, oh my God, they took the time to come all this far and they really wanted to see this place. So we want people we want to make them feel good and taken care of. And we believe that outsiders are friends. And these days of pandemic, where the whole world has turned into an aseptic society, it is very important that we never lose that hospitality, warmth, and coziness, what Chileans are known for. Maybe you, Ellen, can tell us what was that coziness that you felt.
Yeah, well, actually, I was just thinking, Daniela, listening to you, that you were just showing it yourself. I mean, the way you just spoke was full of warmth and was so Chilean. I think Chileans just really like people. They love their visitors. In Portillo we have 450 employees, and we have about that many guests. The reason why it's equal is because a lot of them work outside in the ski area, but and the other half work in the hotel. But those people, they love. I mean, that's where we really see them loving our guests, and they get to know them, and they just are so curious about it all, and the guests love. It's mutual, and I think there's just a lot of warmth in the Chilean heart, and it's wonderful people. It's just great people, big families too. One other thing that's different about Chileans from our American experience is that many Chileans have gone to school with the same people since pre-kinder or kinder on through even university, and having been in the past mainly a Catholic country with big families, the families get together on Sundays, and so they have a depth of relationships with their school friends and with their families and cousins that gets enriched constantly throughout the lifetime. And I think we Americans who move around a lot more, we don't have as much of that. And so I think that maybe that's part of why the warmth is there. Not sure, but something.
Yeah, you didn't leave much to say, but we.
I don't talk anymore. Don't worry. Yeah.
But no, I really believe we are really warm-hearted people, you know, in Chile. And I believe that we Chileans are really proud of our country, of our culture. So basically, we open up really easily when someone comes, especially people that comes from far away normally, you know, with other culture, other languages. And we make proud and try to share simple things. And, you know, the beer, asado, and we start from there. And then it's quite normal when someone doesn't speak much Spanish and comes to Chile, and someone here doesn't speak much English, and they try to communicate with them. They try to teach them, you know, like some traditional speeches in Chile, and makes us quite friendly people. Most of us, at least.
So, of course, we can't have a country discussion without exploring its cuisine. Chile offers such a diversity of dishes, and of course, the excellent wine, primarily from the Central Valley. So what are some of the favorite culinary experiences that travelers might encounter while in Chile?
You start, Rudyard, so I don't take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. First, I believe our gastronomy it's provide to us naturally to the country that we have. Such a long country, with this huge coastline, all the different valleys that produce different fruits, vegetables, and different kinds of animals in terms of meat. Um, every part of the country express its culture somehow through the food. For example, if you go to the Atacama Desert, you will have a lot of different grains, some non-traditional type of meats maybe. If you go to the coastline, of course, you will get amazing seafood. Patagonia, probably you will eat much more meat, probably. And then you got the wines, which is another story. And in Chile, we got wine valleys mostly in the central area, which are the most well-known for most of the people. But we have also in northern and southern part of Chile. And today, I believe it's really interesting, besides drinking wine, of course, and tasting the wine, is that you got a lot of different experiences that can be developed in the different wineries and places. So yeah, definitely food is something really special. And I won't say any longer, so the ladies have still some chance.
Santiago's restaurants are really good now too, including at Daniela's Hotel, Singular, really good chef there. And another place to try that for real traditional Chilean food, where you go in and it's kind of sort of a rustic environment, is Gallindo. That's what it's called, right? Gallindo. That's a cool restaurant, and there's tons of good restaurants, and the food is delicious. And it's really just that it's like California, where there's just so much produce and fish. Daniela, go ahead. You can do it better.
No, I wanted to say I have I knew we were going to talk about gastronomy and everything, so I looked into one Chilean famous historian, philosopher, teacher, and cook. Her name is Lucia Santa Cruz, and she has written several cookbooks. And I think that the way she describes gastronomy is amazing. It says, gastronomy is the demonstrations of each society's culture. Cooking is mainly an alchemy that demands rigor and precision, technique and methods, but overall, it is an art that conjugates the verbs collect, give, deliver, congregate, and link. I think that it's a very good description of and what you do in every country that you go. And what Rudyard was saying is that these 3,000 miles of coastline, and we have so many diverse climates that provides us food, different food year round, which is great.
Yes, thank you. So we're gonna pass it over to some audience Q&A in a little bit, but I just have a few more questions. Our trip is going to be in March 2022. In your opinion, is that the best time of year to visit Chile, or is Chile an all year round destination? What are your opinions on that?
I would say we're all fans of March, because everybody tends to concentrate. Everybody thinks that, reverse seasons. So the northern hemisphere doesn't travel to the southern hemisphere in our winter. But then people tend to think that October, November, and December are the only good months in Chile. But I would say, depending on the region, for instance, the Atacama Desert, it's a year-round destination. Patagonia, of course, it's warmer during our summer, but if you come to Patagonia in March and April, it's beautiful because there's no wind at all, and the foliage colors are amazing. Santiago, it's great to visit year-round as well, because we don't have that dramatic changes. I mean, the oscillation between night and day is big, but during the day is very nice. So March is perfect to me.
Yep. Perfect.
Great. And
year round too is good, like she said. March perfect, year round also good.
Yeah.
Great. And so my last question is if you could summarize one reason why someone should come to Chile, what would that be? Rudyard, let's start with you.
Okay, it's really easy. You watch a video, previously, and says Chile, where the impossible is possible. That will be my definitely answer. We have an amazing country. I mean, you will come here and you won't regret 1 minute in your life. I have to make it short, but Chile, where the impossible is possible, keep it in your mind and you won't regret to come here.
And for me, I would say that it's, you come to Chile and you just get washed over with the beauty and you'll leave feeling very good, rejuvenated and refreshed, happy.
And I would add to find meaningfulness, if there is such a word, in the sense that when you come to Chile and you see the vastness of everything, the vastness of the desert, of the mountains, of the valley, something happens in your mind that you become a different person when you come to Chile.
Especially after the pandemic.
One of the questions we have is before someone goes to Chile, is there anything crucial that should be known in terms of etiquette or cultural norms?
It's a two-kiss place, or it used to be before the pandemic.
Yeah, even if you don't know someone, the first thing you will have is someone kissing your cheeks. But as Ellen said, that will be forbidden.
That's changed. People here aren't very judgmental or uptight. So whatever you do, if you have a smile on your face, it'll be perfectly fine.
And one of the questions was we talked about the cuisine. Could one of you chime in about maybe one of the what is one of the traditional Chilean dishes that our travelers can expect?
This is a hard question. There are many. I personally love meat, and there are different types of meat all over Chile, as well as seafood. I couldn't just say one. That would be impossible for me. Maybe, I don't know.
I would say that things made with choclo, which is like a rough corn that they make into, they grind it into corn pies. That's always good. The machas a la parmesana is very popular. That means clams baked with Parmesan cheese and wine. Really good. There's one thing called the cachuela, which is basically a soup type of stew, soupy stew. That's chicken, and it's got a big lump of potato and a big lump of squash, and it's just delicious. It's very home cooking type of thing. And then any kind of beans, which are called porotos, for just real country cooking, and home cooking is always delicious. Those are my favorites.
And also our fruit.
Yeah.
Very known for the fruit. And of course, the asado. Asado is a barbecue, but it's not made out of burgers. It's made out of real meat. Don't kill me, whoever.
Yeah.
And it's not the asado, it's not cooking the meat, it's the process of gathering around the barbecue. And that can last easily 7 hours. And people never get tired of it. Yeah.
Empanadas too.
Oh, yes.
Asado, empanadas. Yeah.
And as you all have spent time traveling around Chile, has there been an experience that you've had in the country that has surprised you?
Everything. It's like, that's one thing about Chile, is it's a constant surprise. You just saw the most beautiful place in the world, and then now here's another most beautiful place in the world, and another and another. It's really, really amazing.
And the people.
Yeah, and the contrast, not only in landscapes, weather as well. In some areas of Chile, you can experience summer, winter, everything in some few hours difference. So that makes us quite unique as well. Yeah.
And touching on the uniqueness of Chile, are there any holidays that are special or unique to the country?
Rudyard.
Okay. I would say personally for me, we have our most interesting, from my side, holiday. It's what we call 18 de septiembre, which happens in September, where we have our national holidays. And basically in September, you got many different things. You know, we make different games and traditions of different cultures along the country. You got plenty of asados. We got some celebrations all over the country before pandemic. Uh, but it's really interesting because you can see the different cultures, you know, from the different areas, and people, it's like happy in a festive way, and they share all of them. So from my opinion, that will be the most interest
And the longest.
and the longest. Yeah.
Yeah. The children for the 18, which is the 18th of September, it's like our 4th of July. The children go to school dressed as in the costumes of the different regions. And so some are like cowboys, and some are Easter Islanders in feathers, and some are like elegant hacienda owners. And it's kind of fun to see that, all the costumes that they wear.
So we have a two-part question from Arda Talbot, one less informal, more formal. Her first question is, do most people speak English as well as Spanish? And then her second question, turning it to the serious side, is to address what is currently going on with the pandemic in Chile.
Okay, I can go with the pandemic if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today with the pandemic, of course, have hit us all. But today, Chile, so far, it's doing pretty well in the vaccination process, at least. We hope to have, for the end of June, around 80% of the population already vaccinated. So on that side, we are quite happy, and hopefully that things get better. As we mentioned before, we have already all the necessary protocols for today, and also thinking for the future, because what happens normally is that people, when they see numbers decreasing or the statistics gets better, they normally feel to relax a little bit. At this point, we don't want to do this. We want to keep it, you know, like serious. So hopefully you can come and visit us as soon as possible with any issues.
And with regard speaking English, if you were to ask this, I don't know, like 30 years ago, I would say, no, not everybody. But now that everything is so global, and I don't know, Netflix, Spotify, all of those, I mean, like everything is in English. So it's like telephones, you really had to know a little bit of English to navigate in today's world. So I mean, you will be understood and you will be helped.
And we have a question about tourist depends. Depend? If we can touch upon that region a little bit, that one participant said it's absolutely spectacular. So we have a question that they'd be interested in hearing more about that area.
Well, Torres del Paine is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So it's been protected, and it's a very important destination in Chile for the international visitors. We have a hotel there, and Daniela's company, The Singular, also does. So you could combine those two actually, because they're in one town and we're in another part of the park. But it's a fabulous place to go where you will not see a lot of civilization. There's a little bit, but not a lot. And so you see wide open space, and that space might be filled with the this type of ostrich that we have down here running around. Actually, there's too many of them right now. I heard that they have to do something about the population, but all these guys are running around all over the place. The pumas, you can go looking for them. The guanacos, which is which?
The condors.
Condors, absolutely. I mean, the bird watchers, you can see the Andean condor here in Chile. That's a rare bird and spectacular. And in Torres del Paine, you can go on these hikes up along the ridges at the top of the ridge, looking down into condor nests. So it's, you know, it's a place for any bucket list for anyone in the world.
Yeah, and surrounded by lakes of emerald colors, gray color. The winds are amazing. The mountain formation. It's like, as you said at the beginning, Ellen, it's like this was the rest of Eden or whatever. I mean, this is Torres del Paine. It's unbelievable for hikers, for everybody. Everybody loves it. It's really
here it is.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It sounds like we'll have to have this this first little trip, and then maybe schedule a second follow-up trip to go more in depth and see more of the country.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
One question that someone asked is, what is Chilean music like? Is there anything that makes it unique, original to the country?
I would say that the different types of music. We got on one side the more traditional music in terms of small towns and cultures, mostly in the northern part of Chile, I would say. And then you got music like the music that we hear on Spotify, and you got like a little bit older music, more instrumental with songs, normally in allusion to something or love or politics or whatever. And then you got modern music like in any other country worldwide. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have our own version, folkloric version of cueca, which is in the countryside. Right. But it's mostly, I mean, our local, but international as well. And right. I would say we have less of the Caribbean music, such as merengue or salsa, or we're not good dancers, I would say.
No, I don't know about that. That's not true. The cueca is a dance.
Well, yeah.
The cueca. So this one here behind me, that's Atacama, that's Licancabur. And up there, the music, there is regional music, and it's kind of played in these little pipe things. It sounds sort of like a wooden xylophone type of sound. And so, part of going to Atacama, to Tierra Atacama, or to anywhere out in Atacama, would include festivity nights, where you would have locals come in playing that music, and you'd be eating your asado and all this food and just having a great night.
And then Easter Island, that is a lot more Polynesian, and their dances are beautiful.
Yeah, they do kind of like it's Easter Island, but it's sort of like a hula, but not really. I mean, it's done with bird feathers instead of whatever those palm fronds or whatever the skirts in Hawaii are.
And Kathleen McKenna asks, in preparation for the trip, can you suggest some good books, either fiction or nonfiction, that capture the essence of Chile?
Yeah, there's one called The Uttermost South in the World. The Uttermost South in the World. I might have that wrong. Anyway. And then James Chatwin has some books about Patagonia.
Into Patagonia, yeah.
There are some books more specific, I would say. Maybe I might be wrong, that find interest for specific areas like Patagonia or nearby Santiago. There are some reads about Darwin that spends a lot of time, of course, in Chile, but are more on a historical, cultural side, I would say, from previously, not so actual.
And for idiosyncrasy, I would say, if you can read anything, some things from Isabel Allende, that she has been very well translated. So I think that the translations she has do capture Chilean society. But there are plenty. I mean,
Yeah.
there are plenty of books to read. But maybe we can put together a list and send it your way, so you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely something we do for our travelers, and I'd love to work with all of you on that, sending out a reading list beforehand.
I'm looking up the uttermost right now.
One of the other questions is, if there was one destination that you would say could not be missed in Chile, what would that destination be? Or experience, I might add as well.
I'm going to be politically correct.
Yeah.
I think it will depend where you live. You know, it makes sense. For example, just to give you an example, if you live in Arizona desert, which is not the same as the Atacama, but it's still a desert, probably you won't like to go to Atacama. You will prefer to go maybe to Patagonia or to the Lake District, where you will see some different scenarios. That would be my personal advice. It depends a little bit where you live and how much time you have. And some other important advice that it's personally and professionally, most of people, when they come to Chile, unfortunately, they don't have a lot of time, usually around a week. If you can, take more time. And if not, try not to see the entire country in 7 days, because you won't be able to do it. Try to do 2 trips if necessary, but just focus where you're going to enjoy it and not rush it.
Yeah, and I would like to add that more and more we see that trend of when we were talking about before of staying and looking for more in-depth exploration rather than, I mean, privileging depth over distance, and come to Chile and maybe this opportunity do not combine it with another country. Just stay in Chile and do a more thorough trip of Chile. And like, I don't know, if you're a fanatic skier, gosh, you can come skiing in the summer. Who can do that? So there's plenty of things, and it's very, despite I work, I mean, we have a hotel in the most beautiful park to my eyes in the area of Chile and Patagonia, but Chile, I mean, what it really puts it together is the land of contrasts. I mean, you have fire and ice. You go to the Atacama Desert, you can't believe those skies, those stars, the volcanoes. Patagonia, you just cannot believe where you are. It's really, really very difficult question.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the stars. You know, Chile is one of the top, has one of the best skies on the globe for the astronomers. And so the Atacama Desert is, that's a treat. That is a real treat. One of the many treats here.
While we're talking about the skies, someone asked a question about birds. What is the best time for birding and the best destination in Chile?
Oof, I believe it depends if someone is looking for some specific type of birds. The areas, I would say all areas are interesting. I've seen a lot of people getting bigger and bigger. For example, in Chiloé Island, which is in the Lake District, there are some really specialized tour operators that they are providing really deep knowledge about birding in Chile. Of course, the season will depend if there is any specific type of birds they want to see. But other than that, that will be one of probably my recommendations for birding.
Yeah, and also at many of the hotels, like our hotels, Tierra Chiloé, Tierra Patagonia, or Tierra Atacama, we have guides who will take you out to see the birds. And birding is a very important part of tourism here. And so we in Chile, all of us, anyone in tourism is going to be able to help somebody with an interest in birds to find the birds of that area. of whichever part of Chile they're visiting.
Well, it's clear after listening to all of you that our 1 week in Santiago is certainly not enough. And we're going to need to be bringing back travelers to Chile time and time again, and that they'll certainly see something and experience something new each time. So thank you very much for your time today. And I'd just like to conclude by inviting Lauren Swartz, our president and CEO, to say a few closing remarks. Lauren?
Thank you, Shoshana. And now I have a big list of birds to research and books to read and foods to eat when I come to Chile next, and music to listen to, and I'll practice my dancing, but won't get too good. I think that's the advice we got here today. Thank you, Ellen, Rudyard, and Danielle for being with us this evening. And thanks, of course, to my colleague Shoshana at the World Affairs Council for helping lead this really nice program that gets us all thinking a bit about not only leaving our homes, but going to a truly incredible destination. I've been to Chile a few times, and I'm excited to lead our tour when we come back in March as a group. So thank you all for sharing your time and perspective with us tonight. And we're excited to do more of this. Of course, thank you to our audience and members of the World Affairs Council and the Chilean American Chamber of Commerce, our partners in this, and to all of our new friends for spending an hour with us thinking about Chile. We hope you are leaving feeling a bit inspired about what's going on out there in the world. And if you are curious to learn more about Chile, in addition to travel, on May 17th, we'll hear from two former central bankers, one from Chile and one from Argentina, about the economic forecast in Latin America and what we can expect for that region as the world emerges post-pandemic. And don't forget that virtual wine tasting on May 20th, where the program is virtual, but the wine is in real life delivered to your home. You'll get a chance to sample 4 wine varietals with us, and with a personal guided tour from Kingston Family Vineyards from the Casablanca Valley. The founder will walk us through her story, which is quite incredible, about how the wines are made, their connections to other places in our country and theirs, and the stories behind each individual wine. You can register for those programs and more at our website, wacphila.org. We hope you'll join us. Thanks again for your time tonight, and have a wonderful night. Buenas noches.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Ciao. Gracias.
Bye.
Thank you.